Hi everyone, it's Sloan Rhodes here with your spiritual guidance for the week of May 27th, 2018. Okay, so this is for all astrological signs as we look at the energetic weather for the week for May 27th, 2018. And as I do every week, I'm going to draw one card as the overarching theme, and then from a different deck, I'm going to draw one card in the position of what our ego may try to distract us with, one card in the position of what our heart asks that we explore further, and one card in the position of what we can look forward to or expect regardless. So for this week, I'm going to be drawing as the overarching theme a card from the Earth Magic deck by Stephen Farmer. And then 3 cards from the Numerology deck by Michelle Buchanan. One card in the position of what our ego may try to distract us with, one card in the position of our heart, and the other in what we can look forward to regardless. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And I did want to remind you that on May 29th, the special that I have going, the 20% off of any of my online courses will be ending. The coupon code is SUBLOVE for subscriber love, and I'll have a link below as well as the coupon code. If you're interested in purchasing one of those, you get 20% off until May 29th. This is a thank you for pushing me above 20,000 subscribers. I'm super excited to know that everyone is enjoying their videos and resonating with the messages. So let's go ahead and get started. Sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. Okay, so the overarching theme for the week of May 27th, 2018. Okay, here we go. Milky Way perspective. Wow, very cool. And whale under the deck, breach. And Milky Way perspective. Wow. Okay, here we go. Well, this week, I mean, it's very, very interesting to see the perspective card. You know, I think I've talked a lot in the last couple of weeks about your, perspectives, making sure that you are perceiving things accurately. It looks like this week there is either in the very recent past or during this week, we are building upon this idea of the breach. Breaking the surface, coming out of an area that was unconscious or darker for us. When we have the breach, just like, when you think about what you're perceiving, if you are on a boat, right, or a ship on the ocean, what you can see, your perception is that maybe there's nothing around for miles because you don't see anything, right? But under the surface, it's teeming with life. But our perception is there's nothing going on. It's kind of like the subconscious and the conscious energies here. And so this week, it looks like either in the very recent past or during this week, we are breaching the surface. Our perspective is being given an opportunity to shift and change, to look at things from a different vantage point. Remember that what you are perceiving is not always accurate, because everything is much more faceted than we could ever even begin to imagine. So open your perspective. Take a step back. If you are in a situation this week where you are feeling like, I know exactly what's going on, and it's bad, well, take a step back. Try to look at it from the eagle eye view. Because when you're out in space, if you are looking at the planet Earth from the perspective of the Milky Way, it's going to look very different than if you are looking at the Milky Way from the perspective of planet Earth. So there's always different ways to look at everything. So, and it looks like this week there is an opportunity, beautifully, to change your perspective, to see things from a different perspective, a grander viewpoint. You are breaching an area that has previously seemed unavailable to you. Interesting. All right, so from the Numerology deck, one card in the position of what our ego may try to distract us with based on this Milky Way perspective, one card in the position of what our heart asks that we explore further, and one card in the position of what we can look forward to or expect regardless. Just to remind you that when I'm shuffling, I'm getting a lot of information, insights, impressions. So for me, the cards are the last part of the process. So just bear with me as I tune in as I feel this for everyone, there's different ways to look at this card. Is it going inward or is it going outwards? And for me, as I feel this for you, for all of us, it's the central sun, right, is where it's all starting from. And when we think of the sun, we think of, at least I think of divine masculine energy. I think about a lot of energy being put out. I see a lot of clarity, a lot of light, as we move into an energy that is where everything is in view so that everyone can be recognized and seen, and multiple perspectives can be viewed and brought into awareness so that we can begin to understand them. So for me, this perspective is about a much more inclusive perspective, beginning to not be so egocentric and to recognize more and more that we are more than just ourselves. And that perspective is life-altering, or can be. Even when we look at the whale, it can be considered very, kind of a phallic image here in terms of the masculine energy, solar energy, but also that we can see it, and not just a little bit of it. We're not just seeing like a fin, we're seeing the whole whale. Everything's coming up to be viewed, to be seen, to be recognized, to be acknowledged in order to heal it. You can't heal that which is hidden. You have to bring it into conscious awareness. And it looks like this week there may be a manifestation of that more and more. Something comes up, whether it be just you coming up out of again, a period of darkness or misunderstanding or fatigue or lethargy, breaking through in many ways. The solar energy affects each of us individually as well as globally. And remember that the micro and macro are always mirroring one another. Okay, so the ego may try to distract us with moderation. The heart asks that we explore further teaching and learning. What we can look forward to regardless is the intuition. We have leadership under the deck. Okay, so the egoic energy is likely going to try to distract us with this idea of moderation. Our heart asks that we explore further opportunities for teaching and learning. Remember this idea of the collective experience being recognized more and more, less egocentrism. And then what we can look forward to or expect regardless is intuition. We are being given an opportunity here to trust and have faith in what we know to be true, but we may not have evidence of yet in the physical. Trust your intuition is a big push this week. A lot of energy around trusting that. It'll be very stabilizing for you, for all of us, the more that we have faith and trust in what we know to be true, even when we haven't seen it yet in the manifest world. If you are someone who regularly listens to your intuition, this won't be any surprise, but for those of you who may sometimes, like most of us, don't always listen to it, sometimes we listen to it, sometimes we don't. But this week you're being asked to really trust it. It will be, it will help provide you with the impulses, the creative juices to create something that's more stabilizing for you on the individual level, as well as anchoring it for the more macro energies. The more each and every one of us grounds ourselves in what we know to be true in our hearts, the more that it takes hold on the planet and it creates a new foundation for change. All right, so here we have the perspective as the overarching theme. Now the ego may try to distract us with the moderation card. Take it easy. Don't go too fast. Things are changing too quickly. We need to slow things down and make sure things are orderly and that we have control over it. The ego loves to have control. It's what the ego sees as necessary in order to survive and in order to keep us safe. And because on here I'm seeing 1 + 4 = 5, so we have this idea of change. So there is change around it. Sometimes whenever we are, sometimes when we're in change, we can feel like it's happening too quickly. We want to drag our feet and slow things down. And there may be seeming obstacles to what we are wanting to achieve. or not enough obstacles, depending on which side of the debate you're on, I guess. So the ego may try to distract us with that, like, you need to be more moderate, slow and steady wins the race. Well, we have this swirling change in perspective here. The whale, the thrust of the whale to get out of the water doesn't happen with a gentle, moderate energy. It takes tremendous energy to break through. So remind your mind of that this week when the mind is like, it's going too fast, I can't handle it. Sometimes just a change alone could just send us right over the edge. But you're being asked to take a leap of faith here with that intuition card. It's what we can look forward to regardless. And you're also asking to be a leader, to recognize where leadership is no longer the leaders that you have been following. Are you still the same person when you first agreed to follow that person? Or are you stepping more and more into your power as the leader, the leader of your own life? Because a lot of times, it's like you watch a TV show and you're like, I love this TV show. It's so great, and then you watch more of it and you're like, I don't like it. Or you go back to it later and you're like, gosh, I was such a different person when I liked that show. It looks so, it doesn't resonate with me anymore. So, constantly check in with yourself around this idea of leadership. Where can you lead from the heart more and more? Where can you teach and learn from others who have perspectives that differ from your own? I mean, when you look at these two cards, how in alignment, how congruent they are just in terms of their color schematics here. I mean, there's so much to be learned when we are able to bring things into view, and not just our own perspective, but the perspectives of the many, and see, where we can learn and from each other, and where we can teach others about our perspectives and our understandings. And the ego may try, and that's all heart energy, and the ego may try to distract you with this. She was going too fast. Slow it down. I don't like it. Change can be very, very scary, but change is, obviously a part of life. It's a part of Mother Nature. It's a part of planet Earth. The planet Earth is continually churning and changing. And, the egoic perspective is it needs to slow down, but nature never says it needs to slow down. Nature just does nature. So you have to kind of go with things. You have to adapt. And the way to live a really powerfully connected life is to continually grow and change and evolve and adapt. That's the only way to really sustain. Whenever you get really rigid on something, that's always an invitation to recognize that is egoic energy, and it's why are you so rigid? You're rigid out of fear. There's an opportunity there to drop into the heart, take a breath, and say, okay, where can I learn from this? Where can I begin to grow and change? All right, a lot was there. Do I want to say anything more? I don't think I do. There's a lot to chew on, so consider it, think about it. And one of the things that I would encourage is this week, consider this idea of the solar energy and the masculine energy, the breaching, the thrust that has to occur for great change to happen. Now, some of you may say, I'm perfectly fine with the way things are, but change occurs regardless. We're not meant to just be one way our entire lives. We're meant to continue to grow and evolve and change and learn and teach, and so consider the masculine energy, where the idea of the solar light providing clarity for the many rather than the few, and how we can learn and teach and grow with that. Because with the masculine energy, the divine masculine energy, as I understand it and I experience it, it's tremendously clarifying and enlightening, and with it comes the impetus to create change. There's this idea of movement out from within, this, not such reflective energy, but moving out. And remember, the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies, regardless of gender or how you experience gender or understand gender, they work in conjunction with one another. And here we have the intuition, which is more of that divine feminine energy. This is what we can look forward to regardless. And it may seem at odds, like when I'm experiencing that divine masculine energy, I'm forgetting my divine feminine. No, they're always working in conjunction with one another. The divine masculine brings everything that has been under the surface, let's say, into view to share with the all, bring it out. But it couldn't bring it out if the divine feminine, more reflective, more open, receptive energies hadn't understood it first in order to bring it out. So they're working in conjunction with one another. But this week in particular, where can you break through? Where can you shift your perspective based on the internal workings you've already been doing? You're going to be, you're being asked to trust your intuition about when to take action, when to bring things to light, when to recognize where you can learn from another, different perspectives, different understandings, and where you can have an opportunity to teach another about your own experiences, your own understandings. Not teach in order to dominate, but to explore together, when you have those kind of conversations. So within your own personal life, whether it be at the water cooler at work or with your family members or just at the world in large, when you're out and about, where can you change your perspective? It could be as simple as when you are waiting in line for your coffee, and you are like, I gotta go, they're so lame, they blah, blah, blah. Or where can you drop into the heart and recognize that this is an opportunity for you to maybe see how you are from their perspective. Are you very impatient? Are you looking down upon whoever's serving you or helping you in wherever you are? Or are you seeing, wow, they have their own life that is affecting them in this moment. Maybe they have a sick mother, we never know everyone's story. So, be aware. That's just a very small example. It's obviously much grander and bigger than that. But whenever we, bring it into our present circumstance, we have an opportunity to ground it in the knowing of who we are. So sometimes it's easy to understand it conceptually, but not as easy to identify it in the minutia of our lives. So anyway, I hope you find that helpful. I wish you much love. Remember that there's 20% off for the next couple days and on the online courses if you're interested. And I wish you much love.